The Pittsburgh Steelers, they've got yet another draft steal emerging. And the Steelers, they've got a new playmaker ready for the spotlight, and his potential for this year, I think it's off the charts. And that player I'm talking about is Keanu Benton. Hey, what's up? This is Sports Talk Steelers. I'm your host, Sean. And here's the thing. I'm a diehard Bears fan. I have a Bears channel, but I absolutely love covering the NFL. I've been into the NFL for over 40 years, and when the Bears are out of it, which is often, the Steelers have been the team that I roll with, and I just love having an opportunity to cover them here. Get in on the ground floor, like and subscribe with me. So sometimes a player, they really make some noise, and stats, they don't quite do them justice, right? And I think Benton, he's just getting his due, and the sky's the limit on what we might see from him in 2024. So the way the Steelers got him, it's kind of a sore subject from a Bears perspective. The Steelers had 2 second rounders, one from the Claypool trade. Once again, you're welcome. Nice work there, Steelers. And they grabbed Benton in the draft. It's crazy that a second round pick actually feels like a steal, but I think Benton, he fits that feeling perfectly. And on a team that just excels defensively, historically, it's jarring that this is the highest a defensive lineman has been brought to Pittsburgh since 2014. That's right. It's been a long time. So last year he played in 484 snaps. And as you know, he eventually took over at nose tackle and never looked back. We're looking at results of 36 tackles. Now, initially, that's not mind-blowing, but you got to take a deeper dive to see what his performance actually was. I mean, he logged a sack. Once again, dig deeper. Part of the truth lies in the fact that he had 22 pressures and 8 quarterback hits, 2 forced fumbles. And let's kind of look at that as a baseline for what his performance was. So many times success or failure on a defensive player, even defensive tackles, it's based solely on sacks. Pressures and hits, they aren't mentioned enough. And man, this is pretty encouraging. And I want to go to this Steelers Depot story. They brought up a really interesting comparison that brings this home. I mean, go back to Javon Hargrove. Only 2 sacks as a rookie. Man, what a player he turned out to be. And I really like this comparison because it brings something to light. I mean, Benton is in fact a bigger guy. Hargrove, he's more agile. But as a player with rushing potential, with pass rushing potential, these sack numbers initially in their careers, it doesn't always tell the story. And for Benton specifically, Wisconsin didn't really do him any favors. They didn't really use him well enough in that department during his time in college. And one thing that I absolutely love about following the Steelers, their eye for talent, it's pretty impressive. In the scouting department, they really nailed this. At the time of the leading up to the draft, they spoke very openly about his pass rushing potential at the Senior Bowl, and this was leading up to the draft once again. And I want to quote Assistant GM Andy Weil here. Then we saw him at the Senior Bowl and saw the pass rush ability, him able to go from B gap to A gap and win an edge and get across the face. We think he has upside as a rusher. And if you need to see him win as a rusher, he would. You saw snapshots of it, and we all saw it at the Senior Bowl. And he's just a nice addition, right? Good against the run, but man, as this dude matures, as he starts converting these quarterback hits, these pressures into sacks, if he just becomes a little more aggressive in finishing those rushes off, right, you might be looking at a dominant defensive tackle here, not just a run clogger. And the sky might be the limit for his potential. And to hear directly from Coach Tomlin, there's some heightened expectations for year 2 in his eyes. And to hear it from him, I'm really excited about the prospects of his future. He's really talented. I think he's capable of being dominant sooner rather than later. And I'm going to go to the story on The Athletic. This is a really good story about his potential. And I want to scroll down because there's a really interesting quote by Coach Dunbar here, and I want to cover it. So here we go. So how's the offseason going? I mean, the early reports from the offseason, they've been overwhelmingly positive. Benton said that he came into camp, that he's about to come into camp 10 pounds lighter than his rookie year. And more than just what the scale says, coaches, they've noticed a more refined body type. And this is directly from defensive line coach Carl Dunbar. I think you can see his body has changed. He has a professional body because last year he did the combine, all the pro days, the banquet circuit. That's a real thing. Now he has had all offseason to train his body, and you can just tell by watching him run around. And asked about Benton further, Dunbar said the Steelers have liked everything that he did last season, talking about that the next step is for the second-year defensive lineman. He's got to become more consistent. And in addition to that, I mean, becoming even more reliable against the run, I would say he was very good against the run. One specific point of emphasis is finishing off these plays in pass rushing situations. I mean, if you look at his pass rush metrics, pretty solid. He actually batted down 2 passes. And here's a telling stat too. He produced pressure on 8.6% of his pass rushes, and that's according to PFF. That's with taking the quarterback down just once, but I fully agree with Coach Dunbar. When you watch the tape on him, he actually left probably 7 sacks on the field. So if you look at that from his perspective, and I'm going to close this story down, you guys check out that full profile on The Athletic. It is excellent. If he's able to finish those opportunities, that's going to be part of Benton becoming a well-rounded player, not just a pass rusher or a run clogger, but a complete defensive tackle. And you can hear it from all the coaching staff. You can see it from the tape, but there's also Herbig. He lined up across from Benton during OTAs and minicamp, and he's starting to see the work translate. And let's hear from his teammate. I see him every day in practice. He's always been a strong, wrestler. He was a former wrestler. He'll be throwing people out of the club, but I think the biggest thing I notice is that he's gotten a lot quicker from last year. When you put that size and strength and mentality, then he gets quicker. That's an absolutely scary sight. And then kind of looking forward, I think he's going to be one of the breakout candidates to watch on this Steelers roster. I mean, when his next exit interview comes around at the end of this year, at the end of 2024/2025, it's going to be so intriguing to see how much he's grown in yet another year. And defensive coordinator Terrell Austin, excuse me, I'm tongue-tied today. He agrees. He's saying that the sky's the limit for this guy. He says that he thinks the world of him right now and thinks that he has so much room for growth. And you guys, the comment section is open. I love interacting in the comments with you guys. Let me know what you think as far as what type of player Benton is going to be, the type of player that you think he's going to be, what his fit is going to be in this defense. And I really appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. You guys, this is going to be a great year of football for the Steelers, and I can't wait to spend it with you. Talk to you soon. See ya.